There we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition podcast. I am your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom Noof Nukem. I am in the room. I've got a couple of esteemed guests with me, one for the first time ever. I'll start with our first timer here. You might know him on Twitter as the Canada guy. So he is here with us right now, or we'll call him James. That's what he's showing up here. So, James, welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good. All right, man. Glad you could be here. And you guys know this gentleman. He is one of the community's finest. He is quite a dude. We get along quite well, and he's always a hit on the show. And I am talking about our resident Dreadbull. What's up, Dread?
What's up? What's up? How's it going, everybody?
Well, there you go. There you go. We got a few people showing up in the chat. We got Axel1324 first on the floor. Boogie Woogie's in the house. Back from the dead is here. Cyber Gunner's in the house, guys. You guys know why we're here. This is a special PlayStation Future Gaming Show reaction. We just witnessed just over an hour of a plethora of games. Some we kind of may have expected, some maybe not so much. But we're going to weigh in on each and every game, kind of get our take on what we saw, a reaction to it. A couple of big surprises, especially toward the end of that show. So we're going to kick things off, get into it. I don't want to keep everybody here too long. I know there's some fine podcasters coming up here shortly. Joe Dunmore, Spider-Man 356, Walt Bates. What's going on, guys? So again, we want to welcome the Canada guy. On the screen, you're seeing him as James. So we'll welcome him here because I said it's our first time. But he's a good Canadian dude just down the street from me, down towards Calgary. Correct, James?
That is correct. I am in Calgary.
You're in Calgary, and I'm just outside of Edmonton. Here we go. So we're almost like bitter rivals, I suppose. If you're a hockey person, you're probably a Flames guy.
I am a Flames guy, yes.
There you go. And I'm an Oilers fan, so there's already friction. All right, glad you guys could be here. This should be a good show. I want everybody to give us an honest opinion. You're going to hear a lot of stuff in the next couple of days, a lot of the fanboy rhetoric, a lot of bullshit. We're going to tell it like it is, our honest impressions of what we saw, and we'll get right down to it. So let's kind of just start off, guys, getting through everything here. Let's talk about the first game that we saw at the show today, and that was, first they just talked about GTA Online, free for PlayStation 5 owners. I guess an enhanced edition coming up. This will probably be our shortest one that we talk about the whole time. Reactions, and we'll start with you, James.
Or Gran Turismo?
Grand Theft Auto 5 was unveiled right to start off the show. I guess they have an enhanced edition. I mean, who the hell has not played GTA 5 at this point? I'm not even sure where they showed it, but
I was very surprised when I logged on and it was like playing GTA 5 for PlayStation 4. I'm like, what's going on here? This is the PlayStation 5 showcase, is it not? But yeah, I'm hoping to see what they actually put on or add to it, or how better it looks in the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to weigh in on this because it's GTA 5. It's been out since 2013, an enhanced edition. I'm sure for the all 5 people who didn't buy a copy of it, it's going to be a treat. But Dreadpool, what'd you think of that one? Kind of kicking things off. He's ready to get drunk. There you go. That's
what I'm thinking of it. Somebody seemed to be drunk. On the one side, I understand it. You got the PS4, but why would you show the PS4 graphics when you could have been showing the PS5? You're talking about how it's expanded and enhanced. You know what I mean? Give everybody like a little taste of what it's going to look like. I expected when they said expanded and enhanced that there would be something more to it. Mm-hmm. Because I was looking at it going, this is 1080p. Okay, verified everything, and it still looks like last gen.
Yeah, I mean, most of us want to go back and watch the videos in higher definition 4K later, which is what I intend to do. But we can still weigh in on what content we saw today. So yeah, like I said, for me, it's GTA 5. We're not going to beat that one to death because it's been there, done that. You know what I mean? If it's updated, whatever, exactly. Free online, whatever. Like, okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. But let's first acknowledge the chat again. Shinsia dropping in. My good buddy Stinking Corpse is in the house. Aaron, JF94, Matt Burns, Anime Heaven. Guys, welcome to the podcast. Hope that you will enjoy our opinions on what we just saw. Let's get into the big stuff, and let's move down with the next game. And this one was a surprise, in my opinion, because I didn't think we'd see it so soon. Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So sequel, and it's coming in 2020. Now I'll go over to you on this one, Dredd. That to me was a big announcement. I was not quite expecting that. I'm especially not expecting it as that 2020 drop date. So, what are your takes on that?
Well, it seems like the rumors are true on the 2020 drop date. It seemed, you know what I mean? It seemed a little too odd to be this soon, but from what I saw, it looks great. Yet again, this is one of the games that makes you want to buy the PS5. I'm sure it's an exclusive, probably more likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why you want to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And what do you think of them? Obviously, taking a page out of Spider-Man. What do you call from like the movie? What was that one called from the Interverse or whatever?
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, taking a page out of that and switching focus more to Miles Morales as opposed to our, Mr.
I'm
Peter
happy.
Parker. So,
How many times have we
what do you
seen
think of that
Peter?
change?
How many times have we seen Peter? You know what I mean? We got Gwen and all that. We got so much other Spider characters that we can invest in, and this is definitely a good character to invest in.
Yeah. Aaron in the chat says it isn't a sequel; it's a spin-off game. And it largely so. I mean, to have a game turned around almost like an expansion. I mean, based on kind of the graphics we saw, it didn't look that far removed from, Spider-Man that just came out a couple years ago, but. It did look extremely good all the same. I mean, that's an amazing looking game, even on the PS4 hardware. James, how about yourself? Are you a big Spider-Man fan? How did that news catch you to see that there's already, an expansion or, to that game already?
Well, I am a big Spider-Man fan, big Marvel guy, make mine Marvel and all that. I didn't actually play the last Spider-Man game, and I have played Spider-Man games in the past. I've really enjoyed them, but I always felt that they felt like the same game, just better graphics. So I'm guessing for younger players, it'll be really fun for them to get into that world and swing around and play Spider-Man. And even if it's a different Spider-Man that we're used to, it's really cool. I mean, it's nice to see.
Indeed. Like I said, I'm interested to put on the costume and slide into the boots of Miles Morales. I think right off the bat, that was a great hit. Not a bad way to start the show. Definitely was like I said, no, I don't think anybody expected anything Spider-Man related, at least not this far. So even though it might not be an official sequel, still some pretty cool content, and I definitely can't wait to play it. So I think we'll give that one a hit or a miss, guys.
Hit.
I think it'll be a hit.
It's going to sell like crazy, and it'll definitely tide people over for a while till some of the other big heavy hitters start coming. Let's move down the line a little bit to one that was also kind of a surprise and not so much of a surprise. Legendary series comes back. Looks like it's coming back in a big way. This one did look very impressive, as most of these racers always do. And I'm talking about Gran Turismo 7, which definitely looked dynamite in my opinion. I've been more of a Forza fan the last few years, but this could be the game that kind of rewrites the ship or gets them back into the race, so to speak. For racing fans, I know they're chomping at the bit, and I'll go over to you on this one, Dread. GT7, man, is that something that gets your blood racing or not?
It's this one's an iffy. I was looking at the in-cabin cockpit. I didn't see much. It was very plain to me. You know what I'm saying? There was more stuff going on in Forza Motorsport 7. You know what I mean? There was a lot more stuff to see, even though you're not really paying attention. But the ray tracing looked great. It looked just as good as the what we've seen. Obviously, we don't have 8K TVs right now. At least I don't when I'm watching some of these videos. But when I was watching the what was it, last year's CES, when they were advertising their TVs, and they had that the Gran Turismo 7 on there, and everybody's like, oh, it's 8K. So it looks that great yet again. You know, the models, the ray tracing, everything looked good. I was really impressed that they put like real people faces on the world map. So that was a nice difference, and hopefully it's not just on the map like that. Maybe we can get a little bit more realistic figures or characters to walk around if they have anybody that's out of car versus what we've seen with Horizon, which was gaudy. So, but yeah, it's a we'll see what happens in the future.
James, you a GT fan at all, and what was your impression of the latest iteration?
I mean, with racing games, I always wonder what are they adding to it beyond just nicer graphics and maybe better simulation to it. So I've never really been a big racing game fan. So it looks nice. I hope people can play it and enjoy it who like that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure if there's any game that was shown off today that should be running at 4K 60, it's probably going to be GT7. It's, it's safe to say that's kind of the benchmark for most of the racing games. I mean, like I said, it's very hard to break these videos down from a technical aspect because we weren't seeing them probably in their full glory and stuff, and we will go back. We'll talk about technical aspects probably another time, but I'm just talking about the content and, how big of a, hit or miss is the game for you guys. For me, I do like GT. I will probably pick up 7 at some point because it is their flagship racer. It looks like it's probably, it's gonna get some much needed upgrades from GT Sport. So let's hope this is the de facto GT and sort of kind of brings this series back into the spotlight. So hit or miss with this game, guys?
Yeah.
Kind of at middle of the road.
Yeah, I'm gonna
hit,
say
miss,
meh.
or meh. Okay, there you go. So meh. For me, I'll say it's a hit, but not like a knock it out of the park.
I've got a little pun that I throw out there. It's called yeah, meh, nah. And if you're Greek, it means for me, right? So it's either a yeah or a meh or a nah. So
cool.
There's your breakdown. Yes, no, or maybe. Well,
Tryhard fans in the house. We got Sathius hanging out with us, guys. Thanks for being here. Glad you could make it and supporting them. Wow, 25 people already. That's not bad. All right, so let's keep moving along. We'll get down to the next game. Like I said, now this one, I kind of suspected they might be up to this, and I'm glad it was announced because it was one of my favorite games on the PS4, and I just picked up another copy. That is Ratchet and Clank. They are back. It is called Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, announced. And this is one of those games that, based on what I saw from the footage, will probably benefit largely from that super fast solid state drive because of the way that you get pulled through various parts of the world, or you're going into different dimensions and stuff, as you guys can see by the fast travel kind of aspect of the game. So that was pretty cool. We'll start with you on this one, James. Ratchet and Clank, that's an old franchise being brought back. It looks dynamite. If you're into that sort of stuff, how do you feel about it?
Definitely, it looked really nice. I'm not a big platformer gamer, but like the Ratchet and Clanks and the Banjo-Kazooies and whatnot, but that one looked really fantastic, and the fact they actually showed some really good gameplay of what you could expect from that one, so I was really impressed with that Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, I agree with you. At least with that one, you could actually tell they were showing like gameplay itself that looked like it, you would actually play it with a controller, not some sort of cutscene or an in-game engine kind of deal. So it was pretty cool. So you like the old franchise? Did you get the chance to play the last one at all?
No, I said those games came out when I was in my early 20s, so they never really appealed to me at that point. But if I got a chance to get into them today, I probably would.
Okay, well, the new one that just came out a couple years ago is a remake of essentially the first game, and it was absolute dynamite. Insomniac, man, they're another one of those studios that just seems to knock it out of the park. So good on them. Dredd, how do you feel about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart?
Dude, it wasn't even realistic. Come on now. No, I'm kidding. I had to say it at some point in time because it felt like the rest of the show was kind of like bouncing around, but that's good though. Don't take that the wrong way. The gameplay looked really good. The audio was good. This is the reason why they said to wear the headphones, because this is the gameplay that I really noticed where the headphones was an asset to watching the videos. And I think, this is where they learned, because I didn't get, even with the Gran Turismo 7, the boom, you could hear the lower, deeper bass with your, with a good headset. You know what I'm saying? So listening to it on a TV, you're not getting that feel. So that, they wanted you to feel it. And this is where I actually got the good stereo and feel from it, with what was going on either side of you, with the rest of the citizens, talking and screaming for help and running away. So that was really cool about that. And then the destructible environments, that was impressive because I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting everything was locked in and it was you versus the villains.
Well, yeah, there was some amazing flying scenes on there. We saw they had so definitely a lot of variety within one game. You're kind of in space and you're kind of on these lush planets, and then it looked like Sea of Thieves, Kraken, and pirates and the whole 9 yards. So this game looks like it's got just about everything you could want out of an action platformer. And to see, like I said, ray tracing and higher level of detail on the characters was pretty cool indeed.
And then the end.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a nice twist.
Yes. So good on Insomniac. So where do we sit on this one? Is it a hit and miss or a meh?
That's going to be a hit.
I'm going to say it's a hit.
Yeah.
As much as it's unrealistic, it's going to be a hit.
Hit for me as well. You can't go wrong with Ratchet and Clank. Like, if you're a platforming fan, it's the must-have game, flagship title on PlayStation. So Crispy's giving it an 8 in the chat. What's up, Crispy? So 8 is always good. 8 is great, guys. That's the thing, right? 7s and 8s are great. I hate this Metacritic kind of scoring system now where everything is, if it's not a 9 or a 10, it's pretty much don't buy it. So a lot of bullshit. But let's get down to the next one. We are moving right along. This was an interesting one. Project Athia. So from Square Enix, that actually looked pretty cool. Definitely had some very detailed graphics. Let's weigh in on that one. If you're trying to remember what this was, because I'm trying to refresh my memory too. We saw a lot of stuff today. This is the one that's like the young girl, and she's kind of like the dragons and stuff or whatever. And that one looked pretty cool. So what do you guys think of that one?
That one looked really quick. The jumping scenes where she was like teleporting or jumping around a bit from mountain to mountain would look fantastic.
Yes.
Visually, I thought it looked really quick, fast paced, and visually very fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Designed exclusively for PlayStation 5, which leads me to believe that it's a PlayStation exclusive as well.
I would imagine so. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that one definitely had that next gen kind of look and feel, didn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely had that next gen. Like if you could sell the PlayStation 5s on that game.
Yes, I definitely one of the surprise of the show. Let's give a shout out again to the chat. We got Matthew Roy Couture in the house, and Doggy Dog is here as well. What's going on, guys? Thanks for being here. So, what about you, Dreadpool? Is that Project Athia? Is that what I said? Project Athia?
Yeah, Project Athia. It looks very, very good. The graphics, it looks like it's I'm gonna say it basically. It's Unreal Engine 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just the scenery, just everything that they've done with it. With the creatures look pretty damn good. So yeah, it's impressive. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna turn out to be a hit.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a sleeper.
Yeah, definitely one of the surprises of the show for me that, you stood up and took notice. That's the bottom line, right? It's like, wow, that looked really cool. The character looked, nothing really struck me about the character, but the level design and like James, the way that you're jumping from like these mountains and stuff. And it looks like some weird creatures in there, a little bit of mystical stuff. So like, we don't know enough about the game, but it definitely looked pretty impressive, pretty good set. So what do we say on this one, guys? Hit or miss?
I would say that one's definitely going to be a hit.
Yeah, I'd say a hit. Like I said, sleeper, but a hit.
I think it'll be a hit as well. Now, this next one I actually liked a lot, but it was kind of weird at first. It took me a little while to kind of figure out what the frig we were looking at. It was called Stray. And this is one from Annapurna. And Stray is like, apparently, I guess you're a cat. But you're a cat in this post-apocalyptic world where you got these funky-looking robots that look like they're running society. I was starting to get like flashbacks of the movie Chappie here on this one. Not quite sure what to say, but it started to look like it could be interesting. Were you on this one, Dreadpool? How do you feel about Stray? Will you stray away from it?
No, this one here looked very interesting. I was like you. I was trying to figure out. It was kind of like a Chappie. It reminded me of Firefly / Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then I noticed they're all robots. So then finally, when you saw the cat, then you realize that you're the cat. So it's definitely. I'm gonna have to see a little bit more about it. So
yes,
it's interesting. It's very livid, but very.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to see more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I kind of feel the same way about you. Me and Squirrely Dan were actually in a party talking about these games as we're watching. And this one made us laugh a little bit because he was like saying, "Oh, so here we are in the future, and it looks like humans have basically been replaced by these funky robots, and they haven't got it any better than we do. They're like homeless and the whole 9 yards. They're like, what the fuck is this?"
Some of them look like they still have a Macintosh, like a 1980s Macintosh computer face.
Yeah. No shit, eh? Like, that's crazy. Let's give a shout out to the chat before we hand things over to James. We got Your Wicked Hot is here. What's going on, man? Eternal Shaddai. Crazy Greek Dude is in the house. What's going on, guys? Thanks for being here. Glad you could be for this reaction show. James, are you able to chat on this one? How did you feel about Stray?
I thought it was an interesting looking game. Visually, I was really impressed with the art style of it and the concept of you playing as a cat with a backpack, with a really cute backpack on it was fantastic. So, I mean, it looks like one of those small little indie titles that could be really fun to play for a few hours on a weekend or something like that.
Yeah, it's nice to see a little diversity in sort of the lineup instead of just your shooters or your fantasy style RPG kind of stuff, right? So I'll applaud them for that. It's one of those. Where do you guys stand on this one? For me, I'll just say it's kind of a middle of the road. I want to see more on it, but it did look intriguing. So I'm gonna give it a meh.
Yeah,
you guys,
it's gonna be a meh for me until I see more.
I would be interested. I want to see a little bit more and whatnot, and hopefully it's a good game. But unfortunately, guys, I have to drop out now.
No problem, brother.
It's the end of my shift, and I got to get ready and go here. So,
well, we'll get you back on a future podcast. Canada guy, thanks for being here.
You bet. You guys all have a wonderful night. Bye.
Take care, man.
All right, dude. Take it easy. Catch you later. Oh, we do have one. There we go. Just in time. We got another guest. You're there, Squirrely Dan.
Yeah, Noof, I'm here.
I didn't hear you drop into the room. There's a little bloop that lets me know that you're on standby. So welcome. There you go, guys.
All right, hey, thanks for having me. That's pretty exciting.
I was just talking about you. I was saying how we were talking about that game Stray in the private chat where we were watching the show.
Yeah, I was sitting in the backstage for a little bit, wanting to jump on, say the same thing you had said about the homelessness of the robots of the future. So good on them. They got it right, I guess.
Shout out to James, guys. Know him on Twitter as Canada Guy. Looks like he's on his way home, but glad he could stop in for a couple of minutes to be here. We'll get him back in a future podcast for sure. And welcome our first timer, Squirrely Dan. Me and Squirrely hook up quite a few times and play some games on Xbox, but I think this is his first time being on a podcast with me, correct?
Yeah, been talking to you for a little while about it. Just wanting to try it out. It's something I've been interested in. I like watching you guys and a whole bunch of other positive YouTubers. So it's been fun listening.
We're keeping it pretty positive today. Like I said, we're giving honest opinions here. It's not all about hey Xbox, hey PlayStation. We're giving honest opinions here, and so far so good.
That Sony show was pretty fire.
It was pretty fire. We'll weigh in on the entire thing after this, but let's get to another one. This one's called Returnal. I just got to look at the video again. Trying to refresh my memory on what some of these were here.
That was the astronaut,
the astronaut
in the alien world where she kept on repeatedly dying.
Yes, indeed. Oh, sorry, I got some fucking weird ass audio going on here. Okay. Returnal, that's right. The one, the lady, right? She's like, everything keeps like she's in a sort of a weird loop in some kind of alien universe and all that shit. So, well, I'll start with you, Dredd. What did you think about that one? I mean, I thought that kind of looked cool, but
that was interesting. But depending on how it plays, because at first it was like, okay, there's no point in this. But then it's, she's like, oh, this is where I'm going to fight. I'm going to keep fighting. Yeah. So depending on how it plays, it may be interesting. What the first thing that caught my eye were the two different eyeballs. So I wonder if she was born that way, or like some people are, or if because at first when she was talking about like they were messing with her, and I was like, oh, well, maybe that's the messing with her. Maybe we'll find out more about that as the game comes out, or that's part of the storyline. But,
at first I wasn't sure what to make of it, but it looks like it's a third-person sci-fi shooter. Would that be a safe assessment?
Yeah, I would say that. Would that be a girl shooter?
Well, was there a lot of that's one thing I noticed about today's show. There was a lot of female protagonists, and there was a lot of stylized graphical games, which Xbox constantly takes a barrage of heat for. We'll talk about that when we get to the end of the show. Squirrely, how about you, man, on this one? Returnal. Are you planning to return to some planet with the different colored girl eyeballs?
Yeah, I thought it looked really good. How it seemed like every time she played through or died again, however the loop seems to work, that her memories were slowly getting destroyed or changed, and it seems like at some point, like she decides she's got to like fight back against this, I guess, to try to preserve her memories. So it looked pretty cool. I noticed there seemed to be a recurring theme with the die loop with some of the games.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. Hasn't been done too many times, if any. So I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, I'm riding the fence on it. It looked okay. It didn't jump out at me. I mean, obviously, like, she's in space. I don't know if she crashes on a planet, maybe loses her memory, gets amnesia. I don't know how we got to piece this stuff together, and it seems like she's dying and she's remembering things, and she's trying to put pieces together into some sort of entity. So I'm going to say meh for the most part. How do you guys feel about it, Dan?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean,
so it's a yay.
Anything new?
Yeah.
I mean, anything new that is a change from the standard first person shooter is good. And if the story pans out and it's really good, based on the whole crash die or like rebirth, die rebirth type of deal, that seems pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to that.
What's up, Jesse Darby? Welcome to the show, guys. Crispy Bomb is in the house. Try Hard is hanging out with us. Invader Gaming's in the house. What's up, Invader? Glad you could be here, man. Dreadpool, what was your take on game? Is it a yay, nay, throw it in the trash, wait and see later?
It's gonna be a meh. I got to see a little bit more on it before I final judgment, But yeah, it more of a meh, maybe towards a nah.
Joe Dunmore gives it a meh. There you go. So far we're feeling meh. That's the thing. We got 3 people on the panel. So if 2 out of 3 people are kind of going meh, and the people in the chat are meh, so that kind of gives us an idea where we're at on this whole show. DJW, what's up, my friend? Thanks for being here. I'm going to say meh as well. Need to see a bit more on that one, and we'll keep on going. Now the next one is near and dear to the hearts of men. If you happen to be a fan of Little Big Planet, you know that I'm talking about Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which actually took me by surprise. And the one thing I noticed, well, it was, it's obviously a Little Big Planet game. It looks like Little Big Planet, obviously definitely more detailed than previous versions, but it still looks like a Little Big Planet style game. But this one, maybe not so much of the creating, a little bit more of a traditional style platformer. But I did notice it was 4-player, and that kind of piqued my interest. So how do you guys feel about old Sackboy? And where does this game kind of sit on the must-buy radar or PlayStation? I'll go on you on this one, Dread.
Okay, well, this one actually did surprise me. I didn't think they were going to be doing any more Sackboys. So that definitely was out of left field. I did notice it's, kind of a 3D aspect, and all of a sudden they're like 2-player, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Finally, 2-player
co-op,
and and then next thing I know, it's 4-player, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a new dynamic. This is going to, break controllers. Damn you didn't jump when you were supposed to. Now we got to do this whole thing all over again. So it seems like it'll be that kind of fun of, happy to get through it together, and pissed off at that one person that took too long to jump or fall or something. So,
Siberia's in the house. What's up, Siberia? Yeah, it's funny because me and Squirrely Dan, as I said, Dan we were in an Xbox private party chat as we're watching this show, and we were just saying, I bet you like 30 seconds before Sackboy came on the screen, we were saying, so where's the co-op games for PlayStation? And boom, then they just show us some co-op. He's like, oh, 2-player, and then we're like, oh, 4-player. So how did you feel about Sackboy, Squirrely Dan? Do you need a kick in the sack or what?
I'm a fan of Little Big Planet, back in the day, playing the OG and stuff like that. But I'm a little, say, long in the tooth now to probably go back, unless it's with like some friends. I'd definitely try out the multiplayer. Aside from that, I mean, I got a little girl coming up, so if she gets into gaming, she'll be 2 at the end of the month, and she already, tries to grab my controller and play games, which is pretty exciting for me. I can finally have a game partner. So that might be something that, like, in a year or 2, we can get in together and just bang around things and
totally
have fun.
But see, there lies the question. A lot of these games are either launch titles or coming out within sort of that launch window, and there was nothing on this show to indicate that those games would be able to be played on a PS4, unlike the Xbox games, which are able to be played on an Xbox One. So what we're looking at here, if these games cannot be played on a PlayStation 4, they're going to have a much smaller user base and an install base for the first couple of years. So these titles won't be, they'll be hits, but they'll be small runaway hits, like with a very limited sell through up until PS5 hits mass adoption. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, like how many copies is Sackboy going to sell? If like I don't see too many 13, like Sackboy would appeal mostly to who? Like probably the teenage crowd, the younger crowd, the families more so than the older gamers. I mean, most of us would probably buy it too, but I'm just saying, like, there you go. Like, say PS5 sells 5 million copies in its first, or 5 million units its first year. Then how many do you think a game like Ratchet and Clank or Sackboy is honestly going to sell right out of the gate? Right. That would be my question.
Yeah, like we're the ones buying the consoles, right? Like the hardcores and you know, maybe somebody looking to buy their kid one for Christmas or something. So we might pick it up as a part of like a nostalgic feel to it, and it is good. It looks good. Looks like it plays pretty good. But I think mostly for family, like people with kids, they'll get it.
Yeah, I'm down with Ratchet and Clank. I don't know if I'll be jumping on the Sackboy train, so I'm going to say meh on that one. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, unless my daughter starts playing.
See, I'm leaning more on the because my daughter is at that point. I mean, hell, I just bought her a new controller yesterday for her birthday, you know, so she's got her very own controller that she can play. And that, you know, I've got a lot of kid games for a reason, you know, so I'm going to say more
absolutely
nostalgia and families, you know, so you're going to want your kids to grow up on stuff that you played or something that's more kid friendly, because you're not going to want her playing, you know, Modern Warfare. You know, you don't do that. You know, I know some parents do, and that's ridiculous, but you want them to enjoy the game and not be scared of it. So you got to get platformers as part of the good thing. You know what I mean? And nostalgia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially for getting kids into it.
Well, my wife tells me once she gets sack, she never goes back. There you go. So what's going on? Jesse Darby dropping $2 in the super chat, and he says all I can say is cartoony. That was one of them for sure. Now the next game did have a stylized graphic, but it definitely looked like something that at first I would say, what is this? And I think Dan felt the same, and then we were kind of going, this could be a lot of fun. This could be kind of cool. Kind of remind me of a mix of Rocket League with some kind of brawling thing and a crash up derby game. And I'm talking about this Destruction All-Stars, which is going to come out of left field. Definitely very different than most of the other games we saw today at the show. Developer by Lucid. Player versus player destruction derby game basically is what it is. How would you guys feel about that? I'll start with you on this one, Dan. What was your all-one takeaway on that game?
I mean, looking at Rocket League and how big that game is and how big that game still is and how much fun that game is, this feels like a progression on that, which is good to see. It's not just a copy clone. It looks like it's pushing something new to it, which I think that game will do gangbusters if done properly. It looks good. I mean, I wasn't a big Rocket League fan, but I played it a few times and did enjoy it. But that game, when I seen that, I was like, yeah, this looks fun.
It definitely looked fun. Dread, how about you, man? Is this something, you know, because of its diversity and the way it was presented, looks like it might be something you'd throw down some money on?
I'm going to lean on the meh to yes side. And basically, first thing I thought of was Twisted Metal. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be cool. And then I saw them getting out and fighting. So I was like, all right, so this is getting cooler, but it's definitely changed my perception of what it was going to be. Because at first, when they were standing out there and they're, you know, showing off their teams, I was like, is it Bleeding Edge or something?
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Knockoff.
Yeah, well, with the stylized of the characters, that's what I got off of it. So I'm sure that's what you guys were on too. So, and I still have that Twisted Metal meets Bleeding Edge on it, because you could still run around, not even be in a car, and still fight against the cars. You can jump over them and blow them up from what it looked like that they were displaying. So that's why I kind of give it almost a yeah, but it's a meh. But I need to see more, and I need to try it out, because, you know, Bleeding Edge, for some people, they loved it, and others just like, no, this ain't it. You know, so
indeed,
it could be one of those little in-betweeners that just isn't a full experience that you're expecting or wanted.
Yeah.
Versus one that you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah. Well, the question is, will it be as as successful as Rocket League, which I think that's the kind of audience they're trying to capture. They're trying to do, I mean, it's obviously not like a sport. It doesn't look like you're banging a ball around and trying to get into a goal, but it does look like there is a purpose to it, obviously to destroy your other opponents, whatever might be the case. And like I said, that was the interesting part, is that you could run on foot. There's still cars going around. So kind of neat. I wonder if you can hijack the other cars or something while you're on foot or that sort of thing. So definitely interesting. I'll give that one. I'm going to give it more of a yay. It could be a sleeper hit, but yeah, I thought it looked pretty cool. Definitely a bit of a surprise. At first I was like, but then I saw it was the cars and saw how they had like different modifications and they changed and you could like smash into stuff. And I thought, like we don't have a lot of games like that, right? So that's why I give it a thumbs up, because it's nice to see a bit of diversity in the lineup here. Let's move down to this next one. This one might have actually been my personal biggest surprise of the show, in a sense, because I thought this game looked really, really cool. And that was Kena, Bridge of Spirits Announced. This kind of looked like a Legend of Zelda style of a game. This young girl that had really good graphics. I mean, stylized graphics, but these were really polished. They had that sort of CGI, Pixar kind of look to them. How did you guys feel about Kena? And again, there you go, another female protagonist, which seems to be a very lofty trend here. Not that there's anything wrong with it, guys, but I am just noticing there is a trend. We're seeing a lot of females take the lead role. How did you feel about this one, Squirrely Dan? I think you said to me during the chat you like staring at a girl's bum better than the guys anyway.
Yeah, I mean, generally I'll do that. I mean, if I have the choice. I don't mind when they do, if the game is designed ground up with the female lead character as the main, perfect. When it's like shoehorned into something like if Master Chief was all of a sudden a female tomorrow, I'd have a problem with that. But it's a story based around a female. Perfect. I love it. Bring me more of it. Just, yeah. The game looks good. I can't remember. It reminds me of another game that I can't think of the name of right now. But it has a feel of something else that I played years and years ago.
Kind of reminded me a little bit, like I think that Ubisoft game, Beyond Good and Evil, a little bit, and a little bit of a Zelda, but it had some very lush environments and some interesting looking enemies in that game. So I'm totally digging it. Definitely want to check that one out. Dredd, how'd you feel about it?
It was very interesting. They had that supernatural fantasy. You trying to read my writing. It's full of something. So I'm guessing it's full of green. It had the lush environments. There was a lot more to it, and I think I know what it reminded you of. It reminded you of Recore, only not in the desert. Not in the desert. It seemed like they took Recore and took the concept and just said, "All right, well, how do we 180 this and make it better?" So, and they went with it that way. But that's. Yeah, it's very interesting. I do like the fact that, like you said, that they built something from the ground up with the character in mind, versus trying to shoehorn somebody in there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. The only one that never ever felt shoehorned was Samus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That one there was a surprise. That was a shocker because you never knew. It never said, and it never led to being which one's which. So, but this one here, this doesn't make it. This is totally different. This is from the get-go. You're seeing that they're trying to do something better, but they're being pushed back. You know what I mean? So they have to fight for somebody. So there's something there.
Yeah,
I think it's got.
I think it does it more justice when the story is written for the character instead of trying to force it into something. It's like it doesn't do any justice for the characters, because then people just have kind of a resistance to it. But when the story is fresh and it's for this character, no matter what the character is, I think then you do that character justice from the beginning, and that's how it should be.
Gotcha. Well, I thought it looked pretty cool. I mean, not entirely like something we haven't seen before, but I mean, at this point in the time, there's so many games out there that, a lot of games bear similarities to other games. They take their strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. It looks like a fantasy action. I don't know if there's any RPG stuff to it. You couldn't really tell. There wasn't a lot of any sort of HUD. And that's the thing. We didn't see a lot of HUDs and things today in a lot of these demonstrations. So it's kind of hard to say if it's like from a gameplay standpoint. It says they said it's all this stuff is running on PS5, but again, is it more like cutscenes, or what did we really witness in a lot of these games today? Because not all of them look like, okay, that's the way we're going to experience it on the screen. You know what I mean? But pretty cool. Primal Eve is in the house. She just got in. She's trying to catch up. I extended the invitation to her if she wishes to jump on, even if she can't comment on a lot of it. But she's always welcome to be here. I will throw her the link just in case she does want to stop in. So just give me a second to fire that over to Primal, just in case, guys. And we will talk about the consoles and stuff itself shortly. But let's see here.
If didn't you hear that with the new SSD, you don't need HUDs?
That's right. Yeah, no doubt. All right. So I'm just gonna send that over to her here. All right.
I thought you didn't need HUDs because we had ADHD.
Oh. Imagine if they start letting us custom position HUDs and stuff. You'd have all kinds of people with little picks.
This next game, I'm definitely going to hands down say this was the worst of their show today. Absolutely abysmal. This will definitely take the hands down like the weirdest and game that I could least give a shit about today. I think Squirrely knows what one I'm talking about already. It's called Goodbye Volcano High. And it's set for 2021, and it looked fucking bizarre. It looked like an anime with unicorns and weird looking horses.
Fire.
Squirrely, I'll let you start on that one since we talked about this one.
Just, man, as ILP will say, just throw it in the bushes. Not even touching that one. I don't know what that's about. There. I don't know what's going on. Just unicorns with pterodactyls. Love. I don't know what's up with that.
And you're in fucking school. I don't know. Is this like a point and click game, or what the fuck is it? I don't know.
I mean, they're not all supposed to be for me. And so, I mean, if there's a sect of people out there that like that, then good. I mean, I'm glad that Sony's got a diverse portfolio that I got to see. It looks like they got something for everybody, and it's not all for me, and it's not all for you. But it's going to look good to somebody.
Good. And I'm glad you looked at it from the perspective of, hey, like not every game that we see is going to be, oh my God, I got to get it. Somebody else probably saw that today and went, holy shit, that was so cool, right? So it is what it is. Red Bull, how about you, man? What's your take on this weird game?
Holy shit, that was so cool.
I knew you had a pre-order day one.
No, they're because I was wondering too, but they're from what I was able to catch on to, they're anamorphic dinosaurs. Obviously, Goodbye Volcano High, which means the end of the world for them. Right. So the music wasn't bad. I'd say the music was good if you're into that style of music. When you have to listen to every kind of music, even if it's music you don't like, you can kind of start judging certain music. And I'd say it was okay music. It had a beat to it. It's definitely something I think my daughter would get into. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a preteen, something like that might be able to get into it. Bro shooters just don't get into stuff like that.
Yeah. So no doubt.
Yeah.
There's definitely an audience for that game, and you have to applaud them when it's Microsoft or Sony for, trying to have diversity in the lineup, because you can't have all shooters and all RPGs and all, looter shooters and Fortnite clones, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, though. That's why so far they've had a good variety of games. They you got to include everybody. You got, you know what I mean? Not everything's for everybody, but you got to be able to make every kind of game to include everybody.
Absolutely. Something like anime fans out there.
Yeah, this will bring in another set of gamers. We got another generation coming up. It'll bring another group over. Like you said, the anime, if they're into something like that, it might bring them over and be like, oh, cool. Maybe because we'll have it for our kids.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something more there that you just kind of like one of those simple pleasures. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you never know.
You
but
never know.
It's a definite nah for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely meh for me too. Could care less about it, and pretty sure we all feel the same way. Now, this next game sort of takes us back to the old days, and all of us guys on this panel, we're a little bit of the older crowd, so we definitely know this character because he was quite big during the original PlayStation 1 era, and we know him as Abe. You might know the game as Oddworld. Well, this one was announced today, kind of came out of left field, bit of a surprise. But I'm not sure how I feel about it because I never really played the other ones, and they never really struck a chord with me. So we're talking about Oddworld Soulstorm, announced for PlayStation 5. And I'll start with you on this one, Dreadpool. I mean, first of all, do you have any affliction to the character Abe, and what did you think of seeing his latest adventure?
Who doesn't love the lovable Abe? He's the hero of all. Here's the funny thing. This game has been out for a while. We've watched trailers, and I was trying to see if I can find how long ago it came out. Or at least trailers of it. They had, I think it was like 2 years ago. Maybe it was 2018. Maybe I don't know if it was all the way back to 2017. But I've seen this gameplay. I've seen all of this. The trailer's just different. And even the conductor coming out saying, "Oh shit," was it? What do you say? Oh, he said, "Holy fuck,"
Oh yes, that made us laugh.
That was cool. It was something that you normally don't see, and the characters looked like they were really good claymation style dolls. You know what I mean?
Right.
The CGI was really good that they've done on this, and then finally revealing that he's going to have a voice. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's like they tried to stay true to the old CGI renderings because those games were heavy back in the day with having those like cutscenes in between the actual game itself, and they're still going with that sort of studio 3 down, like 2D, 3D kind of look. It's not just a 3D platformer; it's that sort of side view. So kind of staying within the realm of that franchise. Squirrely Dan, how did you feel about what you saw with this new Oddworld?
I thought it looked really good. I've never been an Oddworld guy. I mean, back in the day on the PS, PS2, and so on, I was really heavy into RPGs, Final Fantasies, and stuff like that back then. So those kind of games were kind of always, I saw them, but never really got into them. I mean, this one looked really good though. It looked like it was pretty good tempo. Right. I did notice at the end of the video he was cutting the straps off his lips, which been around for a while. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I don't know. I might give this one a go when it comes out.
Yeah, it looks like a game if you could pick it up for like as long as it's not a full price game. And I'm guessing it probably won't be. It'll probably be like one of those $40 games or something when it comes out. But like again,
it'll be full price.
It just doesn't look like the kind of game that would be a $70, $80 game. You know what I mean?
So
I could be wrong.
It was last year, in May 2019, that they showed the first gameplay trailer for this, and then they went kind of off the
dark.
Yeah, they went dark. But yeah, definitely, I definitely want to get this. I'm sorry for cutting in.
No, that's cool. Like I said, there are lots of people that have like I said, a connection to this franchise that go back to the original games. They've been around for a long time, so it's good to see them come back. It will definitely appeal to the game. So I'm gonna say meh. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah.
So we get a yay.
I mean, it looks good, but I'm a meh.
Okay, 2 meh and a yay. Okay, all right. So now this next game looked, I would say this was one of the weirdest games we saw today, like weird, but in a weird, good way, kind of really cool, kind of weird. It was called Ghostwire Tokyo. This one was kind of trippy. It had like a neon light cyberpunk kind of Tokyo kind of deal going on. There's like school chicks without heads and some bizarre shit going on here. It's from the mind of Shinji Mikami. Set for 2021. How did you guys feel about this game, which looks like it's kind of a shooter? I think this is the one, Dan, that you said kind of felt like it was a game designed for VR or something.
Yeah, that game would probably play out really good on a VR with all the hand gestures and cutting into people and stealing their hearts, whatever's going on there. Feels very Japanese is what that game feels like.
Yes.
I mean, clearly when you look at it, yeah, it looks crazy. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Have to see more, but it definitely looks different.
Primal says yes, she wants that game. Like I said, Primal, you're welcome to jump in if you want. Sent you the link, so just let me know. But if you can't, that's fine. We're not going to do a long podcast. We're trying to get through this as quick as we can, so we don't cut in on the other guys running their reaction shows shortly. But I'm in the same boat as you, man. I don't know how I felt about that game. I mean, it looked cool. The graphics are nice. There was a lot of bizarre shit. It's just one of those, I don't know how to feel. It's one of those, I got to see more and I got to know more about it. And I need to watch these trailers more in depth too, because trying to take it in today and really think about it, it's kind of hard. So we'll get there. Dreadpool, how did you feel about this particular game?
I've been waiting for this one since last year when they showed it at E3. It's a horror game, so it's up my alley. I'm definitely interested on this one. I'm sure Wilmy Hood will be picking this one up too.
Okay.
So yeah,
is this a PlayStation exclusive, or is this one coming on the Xbox as well? I can't remember.
I
think it's a multi-plat.
I don't remember. I think it's PlayStation.
Okay. I can't even remember who makes it.
It's Tango Gameworks. They're the ones that did Evil Within.
Okay.
And the sequel. So
so there is a potential that it could be, as far as I know, Sony doesn't own them.
But I don't remember. I think
True.
In my head, I think it was always supposed to be a PlayStation, but I can't find any confirmed information right now.
Okay. So where do you guys sit on this one? I know how I feel about it. I'm gonna say meh. Z-Back Riders in the house. He gives it a meh. And how do you feel, Squirrely Dan?
If it turned out and it was on a VR and I could try it at somebody's place, I would do it. But other than that, it's not happening.
Kind of hard to say, right? Sounds like Dreadpool's pretty cool on it, though.
Yes, definitely. Unless Wilmy gets it and tells me ahead of time that it sucks, then I'll save my money. But no, yeah, definitely looking at it right away.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, it looks cool, but I'm not really sure yet. I need to see a bit more about it.
Yeah,
Primal says she sees listed for PC and PS5. So there you go. Matt Burden says yes. So he likes that kind of deal. All right, let's move on along. This next game I could care less for. I saw this one in another stylized game that looked like it lacked some color, called Jet the Far Shore, sort of like another space fucking game or something like that. I don't even know. I won't even have much to say on this. So I'll hand over. I'll start with you, Dread. Jet the Far Shore.
It reminds me of like one of those survival survival games. So the only thing that I saw cool about it was it looked like it flew over a mythosaur. So
yeah, it was like a big fucking dragon or something dead in the desert.
Yeah.
It was, some of those are hard to say what the hell is going on. You're like watching, like, what are we watching here? What kind of game is it? And I think that's, kind of give me that sense of what the fuck are we watching? Kind of like we saw for years with Death Stranding. Like, what is this kind of game about? I don't know. Squirrely?
Yeah. It looks interesting to a point. I guess if their goal was to leave you wondering what the game is about, then they might have succeeded, because you might look into it more. And kind of hold your attention, because if they told you what it was about, you might just say, nah, that ain't for me. But now you're wondering, so you might go back and check it out later. For myself, I don't see myself playing that unless it came up as like a PS Plus, like a free game type thing, and I'd probably give it a go. But
yeah, looks like a cheap indie title. I don't know, kind of funky.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to have its fan base. I mean, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah. So meh.
Yeah, it's a no.
Definitely a meh for me. Dread?
Nah.
It's a nah. All right. This next one was shown off before. We have seen this in the past. We saw a lot more of it today, and it definitely looked like official gameplay, which it should be since the game is slated to come out during launch. That is Godfall by Gearbox, a melee action adventure game of some sort. So I wasn't sure how to feel about it. I didn't really care for it when I first saw it, and today didn't change my mind on it. Dread, how did you feel about seeing Godfall again?
Where do we start?
Well, that didn't sound very good.
Yeah, no. Well, it reminded me I could just play For Honor and be done with it.
Right.
sorry but I'm not impressed with it, especially for a game coming out in 2020. Using ray tracing, I really couldn't tell except for when the orbs came out and you collected them. But other than that, even then, it didn't seem like ray tracing was there. Like they're saying the armor, just everything. I might as well just play For Honor and just have Xbox upres it.
Right.
So I'm not impressed. It definitely did not do anything for me. It just, I don't know why everybody's clamoring over it, but
Me either.
It's your game. All the more power to you.
What is it, like a new version of Warframe? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, just sorry.
Oh, this podcast just got a little heavier, people. Woo! We got a big set of whopping double D's. Actually, I think it was probably bigger than that, but here she is, guys. The legend herself, Primal Eve, is here. The boys in the chat just fucking perked up. Let me tell you.
Hello.
Perked up is for sure. Primal, I got to throw shade your way. I've been trying to get you on the Apex for a minute now.
I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible friend. But I do really like playing with everybody when I can.
I see you playing on Apex, and I'm like, I gotta get playing on Apex.
I do. I have a set two guys that I've been friends with for like 14 years. Actually, shit, maybe even 15, because my kid just turned 13, and I'm like, I'm losing track of time. They're set too, so I do usually kind of like play with them because they ask me to, not because I'm on it already, type of thing. And then they're gonna hear this and give me shit. But
Apex, yeah, Squirrely plays Apex quite a bit too, Primal. So you might have a good teammate there for her. So for sure. So since you're here, Primal, go ahead.
It means you got to get good.
Get good, man. I almost got 51 days in Apex.
I'm sure he can hold his own.
Shit, now I gotta go check. So throwing out numbers like that.
Before we move on to the next game, you've seen this one in the past. Yes. How do you feel about Godfall? Is it your cup of tea?
Oh shit.
If you haven't seen any of the trailers, or not even sure what games we're referring to, you can just pass. That's okay.
I'm still Godfall I did hear about, and that is something that would interest me. I'm gonna play anything that's remotely
hack and slash,
yeah. So I'm gonna be all over it. I'm trying to catch up to everything. I'm still like, a good chunk of the stuff you guys have been talking about I did see, but it's been mostly like just the system reveal and Horizon and Resident Evil.
Well, the next game we're going to talk about is called Solar Ash, or should I say Solar Ass, because the game looked like ass to me. It is made from the team of Hyperlight Drifter. I did not care for it. Another stylized, I don't know what the fuck we were watching, just weird looking game. Solar Ash. We'll start with you, Primal. Did you get to check out some Solar Ash?
I wish. No, I did check it out, and I feel like I've already played this game before for some weird reason. And it is probably something that's really fun, and I absolutely love the art style, but I feel like I've already played it.
It's just more like a 3D version of Hyperlight Drifter, basically.
Right.
Well, some people really liked Hyperlight Drifter, so I don't know. This game kind of has that color palette. Squirrely, how'd you feel about it, man?
Nope.
Not
doing it.
Not doing it. Any further comments, or should we hand it to Dread?
Nope. I'm good.
Dread?
You missed me with that one.
Yeah, that's definitely no. It's too cartoony. It looks like a futuristic wannabe Everwild. No.
And here's another franchise. Okay, so it's safe to say that for all of us, is more of a meh on that one, or a no. Moving on to the bald man is coming back, and not talking about Homer Simpson. We're talking about Hitman, number 3. Like, I don't know, is anybody clamoring for a Hitman game? Because I know virtually nobody that plays them, and most people I know don't even care for this franchise. I'm sort of on the whole thing. Like, I think are a very talented dev, but I think it's soon be time for them to move on from that character. So how did you guys feel about that? I'll start with you on this one, Dread.
Okay, I've always loved Hitman series, and I've always sucked at them. Okay. I could always get just so close, before something happens. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm always doing really good at the beginning, and then when I get close enough, I screw something up, and then I lose interest. But I've got pretty much a lot of different versions of the same game. The stylized, realistic graphics were pretty cool. Coming out in January, which is awesome. But when they said we're going to show you gameplay, were they talking to Ubisoft when they said that? Did you see gameplay? That all looked like
no
to me. That's not gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see him walking through a restaurant or nothing. You just saw like little parts in between what should be the gameplay.
Yeah, this felt like Aaron Greenwood should have been right in front of him going, hey, you're going to be showing gameplay? Yeah, we're going to be showing gameplay. Check it out. Where?
So, I think they need to differentiate when they say gameplay or controller in hand. There needs to be a way to differentiate what they're talking about. Because if they just show you like a gameplay, but it's not actual controller in hand, I think they need to differentiate that a little bit. Just to clarify it.
Play means you have a controller in hand. If you're going to
you see the HUD,
if you're going to show me a cinematic trailer, show me a cinematic trailer. Don't say gameplay. You know what I mean? So if it's a cutscene, that's a cinematic trailer. I don't care if it's not a trailer; it's cinematic. It's not part of the game that you're playing. You're watching. Maybe it's game watching that we should say, but
unless there is some different type of gameplay in here where it is kind of like a scenario where you're technically playing but you're watching, and they could say that that's gameplay because you'd be making choices.
Yeah,
technically,
but I don't think that was the case here, though.
if it was a one of those type of games, the walking simulator game, then I could understand that that thought pattern. But they didn't even they were just showing you cool visuals and kind of that's not gameplay. And they need to, like you said, we all said, they need to validate if they're going to play gameplay. What most of us consider gameplay is somebody actually playing the game.
Right.
This visual.
How dare you, sir?
Totally. Let's catch up with the chat first before we head over to more opinions. G-Man 1172 is here. What's going on, G? And we got Failed Pyromancer in the house. Thanks for being here, guys. Greatly appreciated. Squirrely, how did you feel about Agent 47's latest adventure? Now, he said this was the end of a trilogy, I think. So we had 1, 2, and now 3. Middle-aged game guy dropping $5 in the super chat saying this was an entertaining show. The console looks fire. Can't wait for both this fall. Xbox has to blow the doors off in July like Arnold in Predator. I would have to agree, but we'll have our closing statements on this show when we get there. Squirrely, how do you feel about Agent 47, man? Do you want to rub that bald head or what?
Nah, never really been into the to the Hitman series. Been more of a Sam Fisher fan myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game looks good, and there is a good chunk of the gamers out there that do enjoy that series, and good for them. It's good to see that everybody's getting something. And as far as the stealth genre goes, I mean, Hitman's really one of the only ones kind of still around. So yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'm not getting it, but it looks good.
Yeah, I like the setting. They're in Dubai, which has a lot of potential as well. It definitely is a stunning setting to be in for sure. Looks pretty cool. He's got the backpack on. I guess he's like skydiving down or whatever the fuck he's doing. But it definitely has some cool potential. Primo, how do you feel about that big bald bastard? Does he get your excitement meter going or what?
Yeah, I don't want to rub that head.
He's getting younger every game.
Well, like I played maybe like the first 2 that had come out, and stealth and me it's a love-hate relationship. Yeah. Like the only type of stealth I really enjoyed doing would be something in like Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon or something like that. But for Hitman, I think I played Blood Money maybe, and I was just like, I had enough of this. Like they need to do something to refresh it, and maybe they'll do it this time. But it's not on my radar.
I mean, over the years, we've seen, Hitman's improved a lot. They're a lot more forgiving than they used to be. They're a little bit more action-oriented now as opposed to just completely stealth, which you see a lot of games go like that because stealth for a lot of people is very trial and error, very frustrating. So they have improved, but it's just a game that never resonated with me. I tried the first, like this new Hitman on the current consoles. I think it was I think some of these games have been on Game Pass and they've been free and stuff. And I liked it, but just not, if I want to do stealth, I go with Sam Fisher. Outside of that, the rest of it's pretty much middle of the road cannon fodder. So I don't think anyone was begging for a new title, but it is what it is. We do know, like I said, talented dev. Like to see him move on to something else. But so where does everybody stand on Hitman? Sounds like everybody's kind of riding the old meh.
Yeah, I'm going to be waiting out for that one.
There you go. There you go, guys. Not looking good. 4 people on the panel, and it doesn't look like a day one buy. I can't fucking talk today. A day one buy on anyone's radar. Let's move on down to this one, which I really like because I loved the PSVR version of Astrobot. This is called Astro's Playroom. I don't know if this is a PlayStation. They didn't say anything of VR in this broadcast, which was interesting. But this is Astro's Playroom, which leads me to believe it is not a VR title, or it might be a VR that can be played outside of VR. I thought it looked pretty cool. Like I said, I love the last game. So, how did you guys feel about a new Astrobot coming out? Anybody? Anyone want to jump in?
I'll start first again.
Yeah, go ahead.
It feels like a Nintendo packing game, kind of like a Wii Sports. I mean,
kind of, yeah.
Came out of the controller and started running around. So, yeah. I don't even think I'd even buy that for my kid. Sorry.
Trust me, you play that Astrobot though in VR.
Well, that's different.
Ever get a chance to play that? That game is incredible. It's literally one of the best PlayStation VR titles out there. Period. You've never played a 3D platformer quite like it until you try it in VR. But anyway, this I don't know if it's VR. I'm just talking what we saw today. Looks good to me. But so you're not really keen on it. Your kids might be. You're saying?
No, I wouldn't even buy it for my kid. No.
There's a Failed Pyromancer. The PS4 has Playroom with Astro mini games. It's free on PS4. So it might be something similar to that stuff. I'm not quite sure. Jesse Darby's in the house. Cray Simmons is here. Hollywood. Speaking of Cray, he's going to be our next guest, guys, on Gaming After Dark next week. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about that later. Squirrely, how'd you feel about Astrobot, man? Is it an Astrobot or a twat you don't got? What is it, man?
No, I mean, it looks like it would be fun to play, but I've been conditioned to the point of where these cartoony games are supposed to be really crappy, so I don't look at them anymore. No, I mean, I like we were saying, like I like Super Lucky's Tales and these little platformer fun kid games. I mean, some of them are good. I'm not going to get it, but I mean,
yeah,
it still looks really good. I mean, if you say the first one was good in VR, I'd be interested to try that out.
Gotcha.
I don't have a VR, but you know.
And Primal, how do you feel about Astrobot's Playroom? Do you want to play with little Astrobot?
It's cute, but it's probably one of those things that I think I would play for a day just to kind of like check out. It's not something I don't know. It's all right.
Gotcha.
It's not something I'll be buying though.
So, from 4 of us on the panel, day one buy, or is it a no?
Hell.
I know that the wind is going out of the sails. A lot of the show, starting at this point down, starts to really get dum. The next game, Little Devil Inside, announced. That was an interesting one. Who wants to weigh in on this one first? Little Devil Inside was the one that has that stylized Picasso style graphics, like a Zelda kind of game. It kind of reminded me of Ashton a little bit, with sort of like detailed environments, but very simplistic at the same time. This little dude going at the backpack. He's got like a sword and shit, and he's fighting some crazy ass creatures. How'd you guys feel about that one? I know me and Squirrely were pretty impressed by this one, actually. So I'll start with you, Dredd.
All right. Like you said, stylistic, the world and the characters, they had their own thing. Also, the forest world, when they got closer to the grass looked kind of realistic. It definitely felt like a kiddie version of a Monster Hunter.
Interesting. Yes, interesting. Yeah, good way to put it.
So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It's like you said, it kind of had a little different feel to it. It looked cool. It has its own style. It doesn't look like it's going to go out of date anytime soon. So probably for the next 10 years, it'll still look good.
Yeah, that's what's good with a lot of these like stylized games is they're kind of timeless in their approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
like
who
you
gave
can play
Rare
5 years from now, 10 years in the past, it looks good.
Yeah. And who gave Rare so much crap over Sea of Thieves because it was stylistic? You know what I mean? It's just like now you're starting to see more and more games coming out that are stylistic to transcend the ages and generations of gaming. They're trying to do more.
Yeah, exactly. If every game came up and was trying to strive for photorealism, we'd all be like going like, where's the colorful, less serious style game? So it can kind of go both ways. But we definitely saw a lot of stylized, cartoonish style games stay on display as well. So it's what the dev chooses to do, whether it's by choice or whether it's a hardware thing. They're trying to do maybe the most with the less budget. It's hard to say, and I guess everything comes down to when they first design a game. I like the look of this game. I thought it looked really cool. I thought it was very detailed, although having that simplistic design, it was extremely bright, colorful. Like I said, very detailed, a lot of lush environments. The creatures look fucking cool. Primal, how did you feel on that one?
I'm actually looking at it right now. You said it's a little devil inside.
Little devil inside, yeah.
I haven't called
looks
that,
really good.
Yet. It'll be a new name. I like the style, and I actually enjoy swapping games from like something that's realistic or something that's completely like anime style or something like that. And I think it looks neat. It looks cute.
Yeah, it's cute. It's not bad. Who didn't weigh in this one yet?
I didn't. It looks good. I'm interested in it. Like when we were talking while we were watching it, it definitely looked like something I could play. I mean, I can give that a go for sure.
Absolutely,
it piqued
that's
my interest
thing,
enough.
Right? That's the thing. A lot of these games today, like we saw enough to kind of figure out if it was our cup of tea, but we don't know a lot. We don't really know the story behind these games, and whether they're supposed to be serious RPGs or they're action based or all these things. So that's why a lot of these games have to see more. Let's catch up with the chat first. Before we move on to the next game. We have got Blue Moon FC in here. Tip Top Dalton, Sparhawk. What's happening, guys? Thanks for being here and checking out this impromptu podcast. Let's head down to. Well, this one should be a short talking subject. NBA 2K21. All we saw was some dude dunking a ball and breaking the backboard. Very detailed character model, but it is more of the same. It's another NBA 2K game. How good can they fucking be, or what? Start with you, Dan.
Yeah, could I just say, first off, that was very irresponsible of them to just destroy the backboard and leave the net on the ground. Like, now there's kids that can't play ball. I mean, that was just kind of rude. I mean, fix the net, man. Sort it out. I didn't see. I mean, this is 2K, so it's going to be microtransactions.
That sure as hell
all
was
over
gameplay,
that game.
right? That was definitely not gameplay.
No, it was pre-alpha. Somebody dunking. Yeah. I mean, it might have been gameplay. There's not really much HUD you wouldn't really need to turn the HUD on for that, to just kind of dribble a ball, shoot, and then cut it together a little bit.
Incredible character model, though, that you could practically smell his armpit deodorant, like that's how detailed it was.
He was sweating pretty profusely for just kind of farting around at the half court. So I don't know. It looks good. I just haven't been into a basketball game in quite a while.
Yeah, me either. Dredd, how did you feel about just what you saw with NBA 2K, or is it kind of self-explanatory?
I've been biting my lip, trying to hold back. Okay, it is pre-alpha. The guy was sweat like a mother. Okay. But notice sweat never moved. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't drip. It didn't collect and then start dripping down. It just stayed there. It was like it spray painted on him. It didn't go anywhere. So if you're going to go with realistic, I mean, it looked realistic, but it didn't act realistic. So, we're going to do stuff like that, and we're going to show the physics. Yeah. I'm sorry. When they showed the athletes drinking Gatorade, okay, and you got the red and the blue and the purple and the orange, it's sweat coming off of them. You see it dripping, okay? You don't just see it bubbling up out of their skin. You see it dripping. You know what I mean?
It's all about that ray trace sweat at this point. That's what
I even got the 2K20 for free, and I still haven't really played it. So
yeah.
You see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. A lot of us. Blue Moon, since last time he played in NBA is in the NBA Jam. G-Man hasn't played in Celtics versus Lakers in the NBA playoffs on the Genesis. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. NBA, I briefly had NBA, I think 2K19. I think I have the 18 version, the EA one. And I don't play them that often. I do like them, but sports games for me now don't hold the same luster as they used to. Primal, I'm pretty sure I know your answer. How do you feel about NBA 2K21?
Real quick,
are you buying a PS5 for this?
Well, no, real quick. I want to rewind. I do want a Devil Inside. I finished watching the video, but I don't know if you guys heard me laughing a little bit during Dreadpool's take on it.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at my take.
No,
you're agreeing with it. Like,
no,
hey,
well, no, I was, but I was watching the video as you were saying it, and you were like on point to exactly what was going on, and that sweat.
Yeah, they focused on the sweat quite a bit.
And the sweat wasn't even sweat, and that's kind of like weird. So I wonder. I'm sure it's not going to play it.
Now, if that was a 3D rendering of your boob sweat that you talk about, this whole chat would be up in arms.
Selling that shit like hotcakes.
Yeah, if you missed Gaming After Dark a few weeks ago, Primal was talking about bottling her boob sweat and selling it, and we're behind her 100%.
If you get me playing Gears or Apex,
if people will buy bath water, they'll buy boob juice.
I know, right? Straight from the source. You don't have to have that extra, who knows if you have city water or that. That's disgusting. Carry on.
Knocker juice. There you go. Primal Eve's knocker juice. ACS Husk, what's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Glad you could make the show. Boob juice, you laughing. Now this next game, definitely again another cartoony style game. Definitely probably the weirdest game of the show, but you know what? I can definitely see a bunch of kids or maybe some weird adults even eating this one up. Pardon the pun. It is called Bug Snacks, where the bugs are made out of food. They saw a guy with fucking wiener hands and hot dogs coming to his ears and hamburgers and Subway sandwiches with caterpillar legs and everything. This was the weirdest fucking game ever. It's from the developer of Octodad. You might remember that was a launch title on the PS3. I'll start with you, Dread. How did you feel about Bug Snacks?
I'll go back to Octodad, no problem. Yet again, another game I will not buy for my kid. You could take it to the extreme side of why does a dude have hot dog for hands? What are they doing?
They're all made out of food. They're like the creatures with food. I saw a stack of ribs that was walking.
But you got an otter with some sort of curly pastry, and then his other hand is 2 strawberries. It's like, well, how the hell did you eat a strawberry ant before? It's like, you gotta go hang out together. Oh, let me take a bite of your hand. It's a snack.
So it seems like what I saw from this was like you start out as your character, and based on what you eat in the game, you start turning into the food you eat. Right. So Buddy ate the strawberry bug, and then he ended up with 2 strawberries for an arm. So the one at the end where you saw like the cinnamon bun on his forehead and the hot dogs for hands and hot dogs for ears, is like he was eating hot dog bugs, and then you take on the form of what you're eating. So it's like a you are what you eat kind of game. That's what I got from it.
You see, that's what I was wondering too, because you saw how at the end how he came at you, and it's like, wait a second, is this like some sort of message?
Squirrely and I were thinking to ourselves, whoever was designing this game had a serious major marijuana high, and they had the munchies.
Oh, they were munching out. They're like, dude, what if like my hand turned into this ice cream cone right now?
Yeah. Hot damn. Fucking some weird shit. And another stylized kitty artsy fartsy game. I'm pretty safe to say we can move on from this one.
Oh, yes.
Okay. No, I want to talk about it for like 20 minutes.
Now, the next one should provoke a few erections. It is the Demon Souls remake. We heard rumors about this a few days back. It is being done by Blue Point. And this one, again, I didn't see actual gameplay. Didn't look like it. Looked like a lot of rendered scenes, but they definitely got my attention. If you happen to be a Demon Souls fan and have always clamored for a bigger, better remake of that original game, well, looks like you're going to get it. It is by Blue Point Games and Japan Studio, a Sony exclusive. Who here is a big Demon Souls fan and who can't wait to get their hands on this one? Should I start with you, Squirrely?
Yeah, I've never played the original, but I mean, this looked good, and I know there's a lot of fans for it, so I think that'll sell consoles probably. I mean, it looked good. And
there's a lot definitely of fans, looked like a highlight title for sure. Yep. I know there's some Demon Souls fans on this panel, right? I'm not a From Software fan, so for me, honestly, it's a From Software game, so it can look like $1 million, which it does, but I ain't spending a dime on it.
I might like torture, but this ain't the kind of torture. For being a PS3 game, being remastered, it looks very phenomenal. I'm happy for that. So that way, those that like this type of game can get back into it, and also get yet again the next generation, because it is, last generation. I would prefer PlayStation 2 and Xbox, the OG Xbox games on earlier than that to be remade versus last gen and this gen to be remade for next gen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but it falls within that time parameter. So maybe with the faster SSD and the 60 frames per second, hopefully they'll have maybe it'll be a more enjoyable game, because when your reaction is key to winning. So I don't know. Not my
the
game.
fact that it is a remake, it bodes well. I know it's going to sell well. I think it's safe to say that there's already fans that got this pretty much on pre-order lock. Blue Moon is out on that. Michael Donnelly, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Born Distracted, welcome to the show, guys. DJ Birdo's in the house. Thanks for being here, everybody. 33 awesome cats in this podcast watching us right now. Primal, how about yourself? Did you like Dark Souls at all? Or sorry, this is Demon Souls. So this is the original game being remade from the ground up.
Yes, from PS3, which I did play some of it. I think I died maybe too many times for me, and then I just never went back. But I know it'll definitely sell. There's some hardcore Demon Souls, Dark Souls type players out there. So yeah, it's not for me.
So it's kind of a meh for you. Sounds like meh from the rest of us here.
Nope.
All right, so maybe we're talking to the wrong crowd on this one. Like I said, it looked cool on the video, but it is what it is. It's a Demon
I'll watch
Souls
someone
game.
stream it.
Yeah, it'd be a good game to watch streaming, but again, unless you like severe punishment, then there you go. Hopefully, obviously, the controls and stuff are improved, those streamlined, so to make it better. The next game looked quite interesting. Again, a bit of a stylized shooter. It is called Deathloop. It is made by Arcane Studios, the crew behind the Dishonored franchise. This one kind of looked cool. Definitely had an interesting premise of basically, I don't know if it's like two assassins that are caught in some sort of a death loop. One is trying to kill the other. Looks like the girl is trying to kill the guy, and she successfully does it time and time again. And it looks like he comes back to try to continue his pursuit of whatever he's trying to do, and he's trying to avoid her at the same time. I remember the great line from that one. She goes, I don't enjoy
watching you die.
I enjoy killing you. I thought that was cool. It looked really cool. There was a weird gun at the start that you could put like a bunch of random crap into it, and that would be your ammo. And then there was some really cool guns and some interesting warping stuff. Really cool. I thought it looked pretty neat. At least I want to see more about it, but interesting. And we didn't see a lot of shooters today. This is one of the very few. So how did you feel about that? I'll start with you on this one, Squirrely Dan. That is Deathloop.
I actually really enjoyed the premise of that one. It seems like what he was saying was like that the island was like a haven and like a nonstop party, and like one of the main attractions to that island was to kill this dude.
Yeah,
because he keeps coming back. So I mean, it looked really good, but it's another one of the games that was shown that had like that. Well, like the title says, Deathloop, where you die and you keep coming back. I mean, mind you, this one's a different storyline, but it looked really good. I'm interested in that one.
I'm just wondering if it's going to take you like a full hour to finish one level because you constantly die, go back, start, constantly die, go back, start. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah. What if it's not even level based? What if you just the whole story is just one endless death loop, and if you ever die, you got to restart?
That would be fucked up.
Yeah, but people would love it.
Dread, how did you feel about Deathloop?
I wrote down cool concept with a question mark. It reminded me of the style was pretty cool. Like you said, the whole killing everybody as you go through, and then at the same time you got to avoid the assassination of yourself. Especially with that female character. They portrayed the game better. They let you know versus what Retinol did. Recternal. So, but I mean, the two games are comparable. You know what I mean? You die, you come back. You fight, you die, you come back. You change things up. But I think the way that they presented this game was a little bit better. I mean, obviously the two games are different, but they share a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I may try it out, but I don't think it'll be a game for me. I might get bored with dying after a couple times. Like, is this even progression?
Right.
So,
Primal, does this game make you feel loopy?
Well, actually, this is one of the games that I was interested in last year's E3, and I need to see more of what the actual gameplay is, like what's going on type thing. That would suck if it was just like an endless loop of trying to make it as far as you can. I don't know. But no, I think it looks cool. It's definitely something I'm gonna be following a little bit.
Okay, so it sounds like, again, another like we want to see more, not necessarily saying it's a bad game. And that's the thing, a lot of the games you've seen, it wasn't a lot that I would say, oh my God, it was terrible. Just, it's kind of like a lot like Xbox's show a few weeks back where you're kind of, these games are interesting, but I need to kind of know more. I need to see more, all that sort of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, so mostly Matt. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys, as we start to close out the show, try to get it done here. We're getting into the big guns here now. This one, kind of threw us for a loop. Definitely threw me and Squirrely Dan for a loop at first, but it is Resident Evil 8. It just came out as Village at first, and it totally did not feel like we were watching a Resident Evil game for the first while until the title came up. Even still, after watching the whole thing, I still didn't think, wow, that was a Resident Evil game. Obviously a third-person shooter set in some old village, very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. Some crazy ass weird creatures, but it definitely looked very, very cool. That is my take on it. Dreadpool, what did you think of Resident Evil 8 Village?
All right, I'm gonna step away for a second. Hold on. Ready?
Woo! You go. A little excitement going on this one.
Yeah, man. The characters were badass. The werewolf at the end, or at least the creature looking like he was turning into a werewolf, was cool. I can't wait to play this game. This is going to be phenomenal. This seems like they've turned Resident Evil and turned it on its head.
Definitely. Those character models are insane. That like the old guy with the shotgun, like shit.
Yeah. So it has a better story than the last one. I'm hoping that even the VR, if it has it, will top it.
Mm-hmm. Chris Redfield's in there. We know that much. He came out there.
It looked like he put on a little bit of weight too.
Yeah. Squirrely Dan, what'd you think of Resident Evil 8 Village? And I just noticed that Village also has 8 characters in the name.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, like when we were watching it at first, we were like, what the hell is this? And we're trying to figure it out. And then, I mean, I didn't really get that Resident Evil vibe until basically when they showed the Village and it was the 8. And then you're like, oh, snap, that's Resident Evil 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back and think about it and you're like, okay, this feels good. Like it's a good change. It looks good. I mean, it did look good even when we were confused at what it might be. That'll be a day one. I mean, not on PS5, but it'll be a day one for me.
For sure. I'm pretty sure that's going to be multi-plat. Can't see no reason why not. And Primal Eve, I mean, I'm pretty sure you like the Resident Evil franchise and probably like the last game. So what do you think of this one?
I haven't played Resident Evil 7 yet. I think I tried it.
Me neither.
The demo of it, and it got me.
Really?
It gave me too much anxiety. But if I give it another shot, I could probably get through it. But I need a buddy system whenever I play some of these games. But I do actually really like Resident Evil, and this one like I said, I'm trying to catch up with everybody. I just finished watching the video for that, and it looks very, very good. And it's definitely it's Resident Evil, but not Resident Evil, but it is Resident Evil.
Right.
Type feel is what I got from it. But yeah, Chris, it looks
a lot of people could say 7 didn't feel much like a Resident Evil game either when you look at it in retrospect, but it was a fantastic game. So yeah. I'm excited for it. It doesn't matter what name is on the game. I think overall it looks like a damn cool game. And based on the success of the last game and I would imagine it's probably being built by the same team. It looks like the graphic engine just overhauled and just amazing. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So So I'm excited about it. So where does everybody sit? Is this one a yeah, or is it a meh, or is it a no? Where is it?
I'm not going to scream in the background again, but yeah.
Woo!
I don't know how loud it was, but I ran off to the other side of the room.
Right on. Dan?
Yeah, this is definitely a pickup. Although while I was just sitting here thinking about it, I would really love to try an Outlast 3 in VR to shit my pants.
Oh my god, I would
That would
die.
make
Like
sense.
Like,
no more Primal.
it just kind of smacked me as something that would make me shit my pants, and that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm getting this
those
day
games are
one for sure.
creepy. Definitely. Primal.
Yes.
Oh, she
Yes.
gives it a yes.
Yes,
There you
yes,
go.
yes.
All right. Wasn't sure where she'd lie on that one, but
no, I that for some reason there was something about it. I don't know if it was just like the area that they're in or the style of it, but it definitely it got me going.
And also coming from Capcom, and this was a surprise today, and it looked dynamite, at least from what we saw in the footage. It is called Pragmata. And this one definitely made my eyeballs open today, and I went, damn, this is that. Now that's some next-gen shit looking right there. Very cool looking game, dude, in some big ass like spacesuit. Looks like a cross between fucking I don't know, like an Anthem suit, and he's talking to this girl, the hologram cat, and there's some weird shit going on. I thought it looked pretty cool. I'm definitely excited. How did you fall on that one, Primal? Did you have a chance to watch the trailer for this game?
Skip me for a second. I'm gonna watch.
Okay, Dredd, I'll hand it over to you. Pragmata. Doesn't want to make you pregnant? Is it good?
It piqued my curiosity, that's for sure. There was just enough to pique the interest, but not enough to get you to understand what the game's about. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you understand it's like the end of the world, and it was weird because it was an astronaut, like you said, with a Anthem helmet on. You know what I mean? And then the little girl, I don't know if you guys caught it. She looked like she was
like a cyborg type thing.
Yeah, a cyborg robot. Up and like all of a sudden she's on the moon, and you're like, okay, that's a guaranteed definite. That's what she is. She's not human. But it was cool to see the cat and being the 3-dimensional where you can actually see the fur and all that, and all of a sudden you'd see through it and see the skeletal structure and all. So that was
the organs
cool.
are
So like I said, it piqued my interest. I need to know more about it. I really don't know what the gameplay is about. What is it? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I feel this could be one of the most confusing titles since Death Stranding, just by the way it was shown off today.
Don't jinx it like that.
Let's just hope he doesn't have to carry any packages on the fucking moon. That's all.
Unless she is the package.
Oh, that could be it. She got to carry the girl around. Hope not to drop her. Squirrely Dan, how did you feel about Pragmata? It sounds like Dreadpool's kind of hyped. So how did you feel?
Yeah, same thing Dredd was saying. I mean, it piqued my interest. It looks really good, but it didn't really give away what it's about. So I think that's the point of some of these trailers is they're there to make you ask more questions about it and to kind of keep you wanting a little bit more info.
Yeah, did this one say 2022 or 2021? I think it was a date on it. I think it's a 22 on this one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think this one was a ways out, if I remember. I had notes, but somehow my notes just fucking mysteriously vanished. There you go. Let us know if you want to weigh in on this one, Primal, or
no, just real quick. I think it's cool. It's definitely has like an atmosphere type thing that I would be into. Something cybery, modern, kind of like. It's definitely Japanese type feeling from it, like it was in an anime or something, at least story wise. But I want to know what it is that we're doing. I don't want to deliver packages, and I don't want to fetus near me unless it's like the only fetus ever. Never mind. I don't. Well, it's from The Witcher. That's the only fucking weird fetus I want to see.
I remember that's one of the first early missions, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fucking that was
a little fucking demonic baby or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. It was so fucked up.
Shit.
Such a good game.
All right, so where does people lie on Pragmata before we get into the show's final game shown off? How does people feel? For me, it's still more of a meh, but I'm going to say yes. Like it's Capcom. I mean, so it's going to be a high budget game, and it looks phenomenal. Like if the actual in-game graphics are anything like what we saw today's trailer, then that shit looked very next gen to me. And that's kind of what I was hoping to see, is something that gives me the lighting, the texture detail, like that looks like it's built on a new hardware. And again, it is a ways out, which makes me believe it was basically largely designed with PS5 in mind. So I'm stoked for it. I need to see more on that one. Squirrely.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'll keep my eyes open for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what the future brings. I mean, it definitely looks interesting.
Okay, and Dreadpool.
I'm gonna say yeah with a side of meh.
Okay.
Until I get more information.
Mashed meh.
All right, fair enough. Because like I said, very short glimpses of games, so it's hard to say. And Primal, do you want to go to the moon?
Yes, I do. I definitely want to see someone's moon. No.
I wonder what your tits would look like in zero gravity. I'm just curious.
Fucking cast a dark shadow over the earth and we all freeze over. And
have you ever seen a double
How are
lunar
there
eclipse?
2 eclipse? Yeah, I was gonna say a double eclipse.
Fuck.
But yeah, no, this is a game that makes me want to follow it and see what else it has, and that's good. So yeah.
What's up, future generations? Thanks for stopping by, checking out the show. So it sounds like we're pretty stoked on that one. Again, it's Capcom. They left it toward the end of the show, so obviously there was a bit of I thought it was interesting, just going back to Demon Souls. It's interesting how obviously Shuhei Yoshida, he must really like Demon Souls in that franchise, because he came out to say this one is near and dear to me, and I thought it was going to be a Sony game at first, but then it turned out
he spoke
Demon
on
Souls.
it.
He's like, this is near and dear to me.
Oh.
And then it shows Demon Souls. I was like, fuck, I thought it would be a first party studio, not like a Blue Point game. You know what I mean? So that was interesting. So the final game shown off today is a game I'm super excited about. I will give you my opinion in a second. I want to get the panel first, because I love the original. It was my game of the year in 2017. So the sequel I have super high expectations for. Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I think it's called Horizon 2 now. Forbidden West announced. So it looks like Aloy is heading to the Forbidden West. We saw a whole new list of different creatures. Looks like she can swim. She has this diving apparatus now and a whole bunch of cool stuff. It's a big robot horse. It was very, very interesting. It looks like remnants of a flood at San Francisco, icy peaks. So a lot of variety in the environments, the whole 9 yards. So I'll start. Primal, did you get a chance to watch the trailer for this one?
I did. That was actually one of the first ones when I saw it.
All right. So how did you feel about Aloy's latest adventure?
I think it's awesome, and that this is something that really excites me too. I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm just kind of like I want to know more of her story and her journey type thing. So this is definitely exciting for me.
Definitely. And how did you feel from the visual standpoint? I mean, it didn't look like we still saw like actual gameplay, but it looked definitely a next gen indeed. Oh
yeah, definitely. I like it when I like how these graphics are, because it's almost like you're playing not that you're playing a cutscene, but it's like those graphics that you would have seen in a cutscene. Right. And it's definitely eye-gasmic. I couldn't think of the right word right there, so I'll throw that one out. But yeah, no.
Orgasmic or asthmatic? What would you say?
I've caused that for guys, but yeah, no. It just overall, it's like a full package, and then I like that. I do like full packages.
Full package.
She likes the full package. Yep. Heading over to you, Dreadpool. How did you feel about seeing Horizon 2? Was that a bit of a surprise? Did you kind of expect it today?
I wanted to go grab the Wii controller and start playing a Mario game. Shake, 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 shake.
So you
okay.
care for the first one? It was Horizon Zero Dawn for you?
Yeah. No, it looked really cool. No, I was talking about masturbation.
Yeah, no, it's
a little slow to the punch
over there. Yeah. Why can't you? You could do that all day, but you can't do this. So anyway, no, it was really cool. It was very realistic. The models were phenomenal. You could tell it's a proper sequel. They did a great job. And then the Forbidden West, which is the Americas, which that was pretty cool too, because I didn't know where they were originally in the first game. You know what I mean? So now it leads me to believe that it was somewhere that wasn't the Americas.
Right.
So I guess it was Europe. I mean, I don't know.
I don't even remember either. It was never really specified where it was, but obviously now they're in the Americas.
So yeah, and that's
America.
And that's the weird thing to me. I mean, Europe's gone through 2 world wars, being basically the central battlefield of all the wars. And all the historic monuments are still there. That most of those buildings have been rebuilt if they didn't get razed down.
Yeah.
So to see that, if that's where they were and it totally wiped, and here we are in the Americas where we still have some of the landmarks, and we know that we're in San Francisco. We know where you know what I mean? It was kind of cool to see that there's some remnants of the old past of what we used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely impressive. I'll tell you that. Another game I want to get my hands on.
Okay, so it sounds like we got 2 high yays in this one. Squirrely Dan.
All right, I haven't gotten to the first Horizon yet. Like I said, I just they don't sell a lot of games up here where I live, so I had to order it online. That'll be the next one I get to after Spider-Man. So seeing this makes me want to play the first one a whole lot, because this part 2 looks like fire. And I can't wait to play this. Like, this is a console seller type of thing.
Definitely.
Like, this is the stuff I bought a PS4 for. You know what I mean? Like the big bangers. And this might sell a PS5 for me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I hope you get a chance to play the original, because you owe it to yourself before you buy the sequel. The first game is amazing. You're going to hear a lot of different opinions. I thoroughly love the game. And I saw all the stuff about, the bad voice acting, and most of it wasn't even as bad as the people made out. Some people just didn't like the game. They didn't like the pacing or whatever. I found the game was, there's not a lot going on in certain parts of the original game and parts of the level, but something tells me that this game is going to fix a lot of those issues based on just what I saw from the trailer. It would look a little bit more action focused. Hopefully it's a little tighter as well. Like the first game was pretty long, like even just plowing through it. I'd say you're into that 30-40 hour mark easily, without tackling a lot of the side, because a lot of stuff to find, a lot of collectibles. But I mean, as far as I look at it today, like I said, this is the kind of game you buy these consoles for. What I saw looked visually stunning. The character model, the detail, that big fucking turtle, and the giant crocodiles, and then there was a whole bunch of stuff in it. It looked absolutely dynamite.
That game looked
the
like
underwater
fire.
Stuff where you're swimming down to the fucking, there's like underwater city. I think that's something we didn't see in the original game. The original game was mostly on land. This game has a lot more dynamics that way. It's a system seller. I can't wait for it. I love the first game. The second one looks like it's going to be even better. So definitely, I would say, it was definitely yay for me.
Has anybody played Maneater?
Yes.
Not yet.
When you saw the alligator or crocodile go over you, did you envision yourself as a shark? Obviously, I played Maneater a little too much, because that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, man, it feels like I should be a shark right now, and like avoiding this thing, not as being as Aloy. Right. But it was.
Yes. Okay, now, yeah.
Right. So I'm not the only one.
Yes. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So there's a reason they left Horizon Zero Dawn for the last part of the show, because I would say it was definitely one of the best unveilings of the entire day. It was kind of expected, but unexpected, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, and they started that show off extremely strong. A bunch of good bangers out. Then put the filler in the middle, and then end it with a bang. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The show, that was awesome.
PS4 GTA 5 was really strong. They let you start off with a disappointment. And
Minus was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
An old 2013 game getting basically what? Remastered.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few little hiccups. At the beginning, like GTA 5 and that, I was like, what the hell? Yeah. But like, then they started showing when they started actually showing the good stuff, then I was like, okay, this is where the show is.
You see, and that's what they did good. They started off with a PS4 game. I'm like, this is PS4. It doesn't even look like, you know what I mean? And
that was that whole
they
segment.
Brought something in, then they brought in variety, then they brought some more, and then they banged it out at the end.
I think they just wanted to get rid of the PS4 talk at the beginning. Just be like, hey, let's pay the homage to this gen, last gen, whatever.
Low expectations.
Yeah. So, Primal, would you say this the show kind of ended with, well, for games wise, would you say it ended with the ultimate climax?
Yeah, like I wasn't like grabbing the Wii remote like Dreadpool. It was more like I took out my fucking DJ hero. But yeah, no, and overall, like just
Dreadpool walking around the house looking for condoms. He puts on the fucking Wii remote sleeve on his dick.
But no, I didn't watch it in order because I just kind of came home and did it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It definitely deserved probably the finale there, even though it was no Cyberpunk Last Year 83. But I won't go there. Even though I did, I'm really excited for that game. By the way, I know it has nothing to do with this, but I'm so excited. But I am actually going to wrap this up real quick. I'm going to head out. I got to feed my kid.
All right.
Before I forget. But overall, the show is actually really good. I was able to get excited about what it is that we're all waiting for. And that's the games. We got to see some things. So I'm going to head out. I was very glad to be able to join you guys real quick.
Glad you could make it.
We'll be talking soon. I'm very excited for our return next Tuesday.
Well, we'll be talking about this again next Tuesday on Gaming After Dark. We'll wait to see what Mr. Craig Simmons got to say on it all, too. So we'll kind of recap it all then. We'll have a chance to go through some of those trailers again. So
yeah, exactly. I'm going to go through and have a more thorough search besides watching the video and having Dreadpool like kind of narrate it for me. It was pretty awesome.
I'm glad I gave you a visual. It's usually the other way around.
Well, at least his name is Dreadpool and not Dread Stools.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so thank you guys again. Thank you, chat. I will catch all of you later.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Your Highness.
You're very welcome. All right, bye.
Later, Primal. All right, guys, and as Primal vacates the building, we are down to the last moment. The moment I guess most everybody tuned in for today, and I guess we're going to find out if we were disappointed or not. The moment we were awaiting, the long-awaited reveal of the PlayStation 5 console design, which we can now happily say looks nothing like the dev kits that we saw going around, like the PlayStation 5 V-shaped toilet seats. This one looked anything but a toilet seat. A vertical console, white in nature, with black and blue trim, much like the controllers. It's all very congruent. PlayStation 5 is now in the wild. We know what it looks like. But the bigger surprise, and even seeing the PlayStation itself, and this one was the big surprise for me, they got two consoles. They're taking a page out of Microsoft's book, and they're going to have a discless version as well, which means as soon as Microsoft said we won't be beat on price, I think Sony said, fuck, they might be serious about this, and they dropped the surprise all-digital edition of the PS5. So let's find out what you think, and then I'll weigh in before we close the show. And I'll start with Squirrely Dan, brother. What did you think of seeing the PlayStation 5?
That PS5 is absolute fire. The design of that thing is crazy. Super excited about it. I would buy that just for the looks of it. The fact that they did the all digital, I mean, it's no surprise that they did a multi SKU like Sony doesn't do a slim version of everything. Right. So we kind of knew that would be coming. Whether we saw that today was actually the surprise, and the fact that it's an all digital kind of deal, like Microsoft is doing. Clearly, they see what Microsoft did and was like, yeah, there's money to be made in that. And I'm excited. Once I saw that, I was like, holy shit, that looks beautiful.
It does indeed. Dreadpool, how did you feel about it, and what did you feel about the second SKU drop, which kind of came out of nowhere? He wants to get drunk.
All right.
He's at the other end of the room. Woo!
Yeah. I'm not running that far with the beer. All right, here we go. Here's what's going on. First of all, 2 SKUs. I thought it was confusing having more than one SKU.
I didn't want to go there.
Second of all, did anybody notice that there looked like a Kinect on there on the side?
Oh, yeah, the camera. Yeah.
The camera. You know what I mean? It's like, are they watching you? And it's 2 cameras. So they're looking at you in 3D. What's going on with that?
Now, I don't think that'll be in the box, but.
No, exactly. But here's the other thing. The all digital. Okay. So, in all seriousness, all they did was show you two consoles. Said one was all digital, one was regular. You could tell that the all digital was missing the CD port.
Yep.
It looked like it didn't have that bubble there for the CD. Now, it stands up and it kind of bevels out. Okay. Now, when you stop it, when you put it down on its side, can you put it down on its side?
I don't think
which side is up, or does it have to stand vertical? Because now the narrative is you can fit that underneath my TV, right? Wasn't that the narrative with the Xbox Series X, that you could not fit that underneath the TV because it stands up, and you, even though you can lay it down. So I'm assuming you're going to be able to lay this down too.
Yes, I would say.
Now, it doesn't look like it to me.
Well, no, that's why I'm questioning.
It looks like it will sit down. I can see it just if you put it on.
It's really the trolls with that narrative, though.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm pointing out is all these people complaining about it,
energy.
And yet, it's one-sided. It's always one-sided. Let's keep it factual. Let's keep it going on with both of them. Yep. Okay, so here's the other thing. They didn't give us any information about the all digital until just now, right? So is the all digital just a CD removed? What are the different specs between the two consoles? We don't know, but I'm sure right now all of Twitter just blew up saying, yes, we won, when you really don't know anything about either console. Now, was the all digital the spec that they originally gave us, and the one with the CD, the higher one that was a rumor that popped out earlier? There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about, and it's just right now, I'm sure it's blowing up all over the place for the past hour and a half that, this and that, and this is what this belongs to. They didn't say anything.
No.
We know the specs, but are they across both consoles? And the all digital is just going to be what, minus $50 because there's no CD tray in there?
Right. That's what I'm thinking, because that way they'll at least be able to negotiate that $50. So if the two consoles, Xbox and this one, come in and they're kind of like really like neck and neck, then that will but it's almost pointless.
I don't know if a $50 difference is going to be enough though.
That's
when Lockhart drops and it's like $150, $200 difference.
Regardless if there is a Lockhart or there isn't. $50 is not enough of a difference.
No, you're better off getting a CD drive.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? I mean, when there's $100 difference, okay, there's a better example of, okay, well, you can go with this one because it's cheaper, but for an extra 100, you can get this. But is a CD-ROM drive, okay, not CD, but Blu-ray drive, whatever, going to be worth that price difference, $100 or even $50? You can buy them for $30, and I think
they'll do the same thing Xbox is doing. It'll be slightly less on the graphical power. They'll have it turned down a bit.
And that's what I was getting at. That's what I'm thinking. But they didn't say nothing. And everybody's going to assume, and that's what I'm getting at. We need to pay attention because we don't know.
We don't know
what's what. We don't know what the specs are for which console. Are both consoles going to be the same? Is there going to be a lesser spec like we know the Lockhart is supposed to be? We don't know.
So you're saying they're Sony with their silence. What you're saying is people are just going to run with the narrative that like it's a PS5 minus the disc.
Yes.
Right.
And it might be, and it might very well be.
You're right. It could be. We don't know. And that's my point. We don't know.
Yeah.
But they're going to run with whatever narrative
run
fits.
with it. Yeah, of course.
Well, if they go with a different processor set and it's less, is it going to be enough to run the games that they're putting out with the kind of graphic fidelity that they're looking? I mean, perhaps maybe there's a disk drive, and maybe the solid state drive might be different in the PS5 digital edition. You never know, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense either, because a lot of their games are touting to have that super fast solid states with that. I'm going out on a limb and say I'm going to say it is identical, with the exception of the disk drive. And for some people, like you said, I get you, $100 is a lot better than $50. But at the end of the day, with most of the people out there now not caring about fucking discs anymore, I'm the old fossil in the room. Like this will probably be the de facto one that sells the most. People will want to go with the digital library. It also might help with things like the heat and stuff like that. Might be less noisy because it doesn't have an operating disk drive. I think the PS5 all digital edition will probably be a bigger seller than the PS5 with the disc in it. They look virtually aesthetically, they're almost identical, like you said, with the exception of that little bit of a bulge ridge where the disc goes in. So it's hard to say. I don't see them putting a lower spec I really don't. I think they're going to be identical with the exception of that what the disk drive is missing to save that people. Like I said, could be 50, could be $100, but the bottom line is that's a controller, that's a game, and cheaper is always cheaper. And people, like I said, price speaks volumes more than anything. So I think they came in with that second edition just to be more aggressive.
See, that's the other thing though. If you're going to charge an extra 50 to 100 to include a disc, now that's highway robbery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why we need to know more information. We need to demand more from them. What is the difference? It's great that you showed it to us finally. Yeah, they look great. They showed off the airflow, the ventilation. They showed off a lot. You know, the charger unit for there, the remote control, which was funny because I thought Xbox was going away from the TV, but yet here's PlayStation bringing back the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And we still
it could be. What if it's part of? It could be a part of a plan. What if it's the exact same console minus a disc, and you say, look, you're only going to save $50. People will be like, all right, for $50 less, I don't need the disc. What if it's part of this generation's goal is to get people away from physical, and they make it so you're like, yeah, why would I spend extra $50?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what if it's part of the end goal is software, right? Like is just digital. In the end, eventually that's where life is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, this could be part of that.
I see more of the adults that would be purchasing it, looking at the difference to have the disc drive, because we're going to have 4K TVs, we're going to have 4K discs, we're going to be buying, we have, I mean, how many discs do I have that are in 4K right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me to go all digital, especially after, I'm sorry, but I can't trust Sony with my credit card.
I just said that to Noof earlier too.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I have a hard time buying physical games.
When it comes to movies as well, the bit rate and the audio sampling and stuff, nothing beats the actual physical copy at this point. Because again, until streaming gets to the point where it starts to become consistent and reliable, which it is not, because I don't know how fucking often I watch my Netflix, and one day it's fucking amazing, and the next day it's grainy as shit, and the fucking quality's up and down. So this is why I stick with disc on movies, guaranteed in anything. I mean, games are a little bit more of a different story because we know that games are no more than DRM. The discs are no more than DRM licenses at this point, right? But for me, it's a collector's thing, and sometimes there's advantages still with the disc because sometimes they do read stuff from the disc and it's a bit faster. Overall and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, I'm just going to say, like, we don't know enough about it to wholeheartedly weigh in. I will just say that from an aesthetic standpoint, I think the console looks very sexy. It looks futuristic, but not to the point that it's ugly, kind of minimalistic, but you know what I mean? I really like what they're going for. I mean, I think both consoles look nice. This one I'm definitely going to have to give the edge to because it does have some curvature to it, where the Xbox Series X just looks more like a regular PC cabinet. But at the end of the day, we all know that it all comes down to design and function. And we know it comes down to heat dissipation and noise, which has been a huge issue for the PlayStation 4 and the PS4 Pro. Say what you like. It's a fact. If anyone's got a PS4 Pro or a PS4 and you're playing certain games, that fucking thing sounds like a jet plane and it heats up a lot. It's kind of messy and kind of clunky. The Xbox, especially the Series X, or the Xbox One X, has been a phenomenal miracle of power and performance and a nice, sleek, sexy box. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, aesthetically, I love it. I'm glad it's in the wild. I'm definitely thinking of getting one. We just got to figure out now what the price points are going to be, and away we go.
I want to know, will they have another version that's black?
In the future, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it looks beautiful. I just prefer darker consoles to go with everything else. I've always... I bought the NBA, the EA Sports Dreamcast because it was black. You know what I mean? I made sure that I got the grayish black Nintendo 64. You know what I mean? So even the Amico that I ordered is a Tron looking version because it's graphite black. So I never liked my what was it? The 360, the original 360, because it was white. As soon as they came out with the 360 Elite, I bought that one, my slim black. So I want to see a black version of the PS5, and I probably won't see it until they come back out with another one, or they may just stay with that scheme.
I think just the look of that thing is going to sell.
Oh yeah,
people are just going to buy it based on the look of that. Like if you say I can get one or the other console, and one looks like a, like a box, and one looks like that,
but
you're going to gravitate to that artistic side. I mean, some people are just going to look at it and be like,
but the other side of the coin is I'm not, if the Lockhart is real, I assume from everything we've heard that it is. And after seeing that Sony's got a digital version, I'm almost guaranteed that Microsoft's got it. Cause I think that's the whole reason that Sony has this version is because they heard what Microsoft was doing and said, shit, we can't be, we don't want them beating us to the punch. We got to have that one, they're probably not willing to budge much on the PS5 with the disc drive, but they might have a little more wiggle room on the one without it. Right. So they want to sort of at least stay in that ballpark and keep pace with Microsoft because they don't know what they're doing. And we're supposed to see Lockhart soon if it exists. And that's another thing. Like Lockhart, I totally expect Lockhart to look nothing like the Series X. I don't know if you guys think so, but I think it'll be a lot more closely resembling the Xbox One X, if you ask me.
No, I think it'll stay in the theme of the series.
I think it's going to stay the same way. And how everybody shows a small GameCube as the Lockhart, it's not going to be possible because the boards themselves on either side of the aluminum are the same size. So all you have to do is remove the memory that that you have, but the board stays the same. So the CPU is the same, the internal logic's the same, the IO is the same, everything's the same.
Right.
So all they'll do is remove the chips that they don't need and pull out the CD.
Well, it would definitely save on production costs.
Yeah. Because in order to do that, you'd have to rebuild it.
Right. Well, okay. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of today's show, guys. I want to wrap things up. Let these guys get out of here. I know there's lots of podcasts coming up, and in the next day or two, you're probably going to be well sick of hearing about the Sony show. Let's just get our final take. All I want to know is, what did you think of the overall show? What was your game of the show? And I'll start with Squirrely Dan.
Overall, I don't know. I hate to do it. If I had to give it a number,
good show.
Good show. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
It had good big variety. Yeah, a lot of variety for a lot of different gamers, which I can appreciate, even though I'm not every gamer. The PS5 looks like fire. I would buy that thing even if they showed no games. But great show. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Very good. Awesome. Great take. Dreadpool, how about yourself, man? Where would you say this one landed?
Well, as always, I've learned to not overhype anything. I've learned to, keep my expectancies in check on all this stuff, So going in, not caring what it was going to show me, not worried about it if they were going to show anything. I expected the console to be shown. So that was a plus for me. But overall, it was a good show. It wasn't that bad. Yes, it was a 1080p 30, Yet again, I started the show without the headset on, and then immediately put the headset on once I realized, I need a headset. It just helped, solidify the show a little bit better. No expectancies. Everything was pretty much on the ball. It was just a good show. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. It was a good show.
There you go.
So, there's no numbers.
Good show. Well, there's nothing wrong with a good show. We got Blue Moon FC saying 8 because show the console. Sparks is 7. Dr. Dinglenut, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here, and to everybody that came out today, guys. I can't say enough how much I appreciate you guys. Fantastic. A lot of old faces, some new faces. I mean, for an impromptu podcast to get some a decent following here today was fantastic. So thank you for your support. Thanks for coming and supporting Squirrely Dan. His first time podcasting with me, but I guarantee it won't be his last. Dreadpool, well, he's always welcome me anytime, and we'll have him back again soon. And as far as myself and my take on it, overall, I thought the show was very good. I won't say a 9. I think, like I said, they started strong. They had a couple of great titles, a couple of surprises. There was a big lull in the middle, a lot of weird titles and all that stuff. And I don't want to hear, the one thing I don't want to hear from PlayStation, the PlayStation-centric crowd, okay, not the good fans, but the PlayStation eccentrics, is about blah blah blah, because when it comes they give Xbox so much shit for stylized games and so much graphics, and half of what we saw today were stylized games, weird looking games, and again,
right?
and not a lot of multiplayer style games, not a lot of stuff that oozes, oh, I can play this game with my friends, it's co-op, it's gonna have great multiplayer. It just looked like a lot of story narrative driven games, which obviously is a big selling point for the PlayStation, but that's what happened. So I'm going to give this show a solid 8, simply because they finally delivered the console. It looks amazing in my opinion. It's very sexy, very sleek, very futuristic. I love the white and black color.
8.
Sorry. And the games, like I said, I got to see Horizon Zero Dawn, unexpected with Spider-Man. I was not expecting to see an expansion or anything Spider-Man related for a while. Insomniac's coming back with Ratchet and Clank, another fantastic game. We saw Resident Evil 7. We got to see a whole lot of cool stuff today. Yeah. So good, solid show from Sony. A good welcome back. It's been a while, so that's at least what I think on the show. So Drew Zilm, what's happening, man? Yeah, some good multi-plats in there as well, and we'll see more about them on the Xbox stages too. So now the ball is in Microsoft's court. That's coming up in July. I'll weigh in a bit more on this show again next week on Gaming After Darks next Tuesday. And before I let these guys get out of here, I just want to remind everyone that we are doing Community Game Night this Saturday, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, which would be 7 Eastern. We're going to start out on the PlayStation. We're going to try to do some Uncharted 4 multiplayer. That game was free with PlayStation Plus a couple of months ago, so most of you should have it if you're PlayStation Plus subscribers. If not, you missed out on a good game. It's got some decent multiplayer. We're going to try that game. If we can't get a good crew and we can't get stuff rolling there, we might move over to some Call of Duty World War II. That game was also free via PlayStation Plus, so there should be very little excuses for people that have PlayStation not to have these games, unless one, you either hated the games or you don't have PlayStation Plus. And if you don't have PlayStation Plus by now, what the fuck are you doing? So that would be Community Game Night. And if that falls through, if you can't get a good turnout in either one of those games on PlayStation, we'll head over and do some Master Chief Collection on the Xbox. We're going to go back and play some classic Halos. Blue Moon FC, I am enjoying Plague Tale a lot. It is an incredible game. Dred's been watching me stream it. It's very unique. It's very awesome. And I look forward to finishing that off here pretty soon. And let's hope the new Batman. That was one of the things I was thinking we might see today, and we did not see it still. It's a new Rocksteady Batman. Maybe it will show up on the Microsoft stage. Hard to say, but it's got to show up somewhere. So there you go. So anyway, I'm going to let these guys get out of Squirrely Dan. Where can people find you if they choose to follow you? All that good stuff.
I really don't have anything going as far as, I have my Twitter account.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty sure it's just Squirrely Dan 82. I do have a YouTube channel. But it's been kind of deactivated for a few years. It's mostly ATV centric.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just kind of getting started in all this. And like I said, this is my first time on a podcast. Wanted to try it out. It's been fun. And maybe we'll just move up from here.
Well, you held your shit together, man. I knew you would. So thanks for being here. Dred, where can people find you, man? I'm sure you got more podcasts coming up real soon.
Yes. If you look up on Twitter, Dreadpool, YouTube. On Twitter, it's Dreadpool with O's and zeros instead of O's. YouTube, Mixer, Gaming Tag, Stadia. It's all Dreadpool, all letters. I will be on Boom Show in about 30 minutes tonight. And I will be on next podcast on Saturday. So hope to see you guys at both places.
Well,
and thanks for everybody.
Hope you're not too fatigued in the night. You still got lots of energy.
Woohoo! I'm good. I've learned.
I'll let you get out there and get some chow before you head to Boom Show. That's why I want to keep this quick.
I don't pound them like Husk does. No. I can make it through a couple shows.
All righty, guys. Well, great show, fantastic chat. You guys are the rock stars. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, if you're going to catch this show on the replay, appreciate the support. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. And we'll see you again. Cyber Gunter's in the chat. He says, great show. He gives it a 7 for the whole thing, which is a solid number. You can't really complain with that. Could have been better. Could have been a hell of a lot worse, but definitely a solid return for Sony. And I'm sure Xbox is dead according to Twitter, but I haven't been on there for a little while now. So let's go check that out. I'll see you guys tonight on Double Barrel Gaming's channel. Boomstick is jumping over with his reaction shows. Dred said he will be there, as well as a few other fantastic people at Wilmy Hood and more. So I can't wait to see what everybody's take is on there. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you guys all soon.
Have a good night.
Thanks for having me.